Hello, Just Jax here and welcome to my channel. I've had a think about the next cryptid, fairy. I've got a rough little doodle. I've got a canvas that I'm going to be working off of eventually. This is also going to help me contain the size a bit because it has to fit within the canvas. And I'm thinking of going for a sort of petrified / mummified fairy. Oh yes, also I have a community sort of like post thing open on YouTube as well to me, which is amazing. So I'll be putting up on there. There's a poll up on there already for I think there's like 5 suggestions of things that you'd like me to focus on. I'll also put one up on there of so I think 5's the max, random cryptids. So if anyone does go on there, they can pick one, and whoever picks whatever, if they do, if you want to, I'll do that one next. So that being said, let's jump right into this. I'm going to be using kebab skewers to build up a bit of a skeleton, and cocktail sticks, foil for the head, and then I'm going to paper mache. Probably just her. I don't think I'll paper mache the background. I'll just paper mache her. And I'm going to make the wings out of resin. Using from one of my experiments, Vaseline. Because I thought that I can shape the wings with the Vaseline. I can leave, lots of grooves running through it. I just think that'll be a really cool technique to get some wings for this fairy. So we'll find out when we get to that stage. First things first, we've got to put her together. And I have to make her small enough, move all this out of the way, to fit within the canvas, including the wings. She can't be flopping over the place. Let's see if we can get this idea to work. Now I'm going to leave one of these up higher than the rest, because that's what we're going to squish her head onto. And bearing in mind there's going to be a neck there. But I can't make her too big because she's going to be paper mached, and I'm going to do it very thin. I think something like that. But we're going to want... So we're getting head up there, body. So we're probably going to want about there. We're going to go for about there. So let's just roughly glue this cluster together. Now legs. Pose reference, canvas reference. Actually, I'm going to stop talking while I tear foil. She sits better that way, so we might flip her so her legs are going. Now, do we go for a little bit of a foil sort of hip bone thing going down? Legs. So I think possibly there. I mean, she could have quite long legs. Sort of like that. Let's put that one there for a second. Get the other one ready. So let's just get those two glued together. Alright, we've got something starting to come together here. Now, arms. We might just go one all the way down, which we put like a little shoulder structure in. So we've got another little piece of foil here. Now, arms. I think we'll probably do these in a 1. Yeah, I think something like that. So we're going to go with those being where they are. Now, I had the idea to go a bit ribby around there. Now, I was going to use these for little fingers, but I don't think we're going to go that in detail. But maybe these could be ribs I need to make them a little bit smaller. When we glue them on, angle them down a bit. We have our little fairy skeleton. But what I am going to do now is start to paper mache her. Now I've got a load of pre-torn toilet roll. Now this is the best stuff for doing something really thin and fine and detailed, because we want it to just fall around her. And yeah, she's on the cling film, because then flat back, doesn't matter, she'll come off the cling film nice and easy. So let's get doing this. And the aim of the game here is to just get it covered thin enough. I mean, we're going to spray paint her afterwards, make sure she is white before we paint her. So I think we're just going to have to pause there. Let what we've got so far dry, because that will hold her arm in place, and then we'll pick up and do a bit more. She's going to be a fragile little being to get done. We'll see how quickly she dries. I might flash forward and get a load more of her done, but this is definitely going to be a do a bit, let it dry. Potentially down here as well. Alright, our little fairy, our little petrified fairy body is done. So I had a thought about the background canvas, because we're going to paint her up and let her dry. We'll just paint her white to begin with before we give her probably just a few really subtle grey blue washes. So I thought, how about she has a bit of a, you know, dried, since she's petrified, we just give it a little bit of basic dried leaf matter. So I've got loads of dried leaves of all kinds of natures. Nothing too heavy, just sort of dotted about. And then we may or may not paint that. We might just leave it the colours that they are. We'll see. We don't want anything too bold. Though if we're going to have colour, we'll have a little bit of colour in the background. But we might just sort of repaint the whole thing. Sort of greyish. Or something to contrast her a little bit. We'll see how it looks. So, bit of an experiment, but what we are going to do is just crack on. So we're going to put a fair bit of glue down. I think some of these are going to be just fine. Some of them are going to be not just fine. They're really nice leaves, but they're not staying flat enough for us to work with them. Same for you, you're just too bent up. Too bent up. So that's all of you guys, you can all go. Okay, I am going to clean up. Leave that to dry. while her background is drying, we are going to give her her first coat. Now, I was thinking of going white to begin with, and then picking a colour, then giving her a wash, darkening her down, and then bringing her back up with a highlight. Well, instead, what I'm going to do is straight in there with a very dark blue. I'm going to be brave, and then I'm going to, oh, that's a nice blue. And then I'm going to dry brush again and again, getting lighter and lighter. Right. I'm going to let her dry. We may or may not give her a second coat, we'll see. We have our lovely dried fairy and our lovely dried background, and we're going to think about what we want to do. Now, I know what I'm going to do with the fairy. She's going to be dry brushed, a little bit lighter, a little bit slow, build it up, get some of that detail back out. As for the canvas, I'm undecided at the moment as to whether to keep it as it is, because I really like the way it looks. I love all the colours going on. We might eventually use this, not this particular canvas, but do this background for something else, but leave it popping. I think I will dry brush it white, but we'll see. I'm going to work on the fairy for now, because I know what I'm doing with her. And then that'll give me a little bit of thinking time for the canvas. So let's get a dry brushing Miss Fairy. Now I've got some light blues, or cerulean blue, which I absolutely love, a tiny bit of white, and a little bit of silver, and a little bit of pearl space grey. Though I may or may not touch that, we'll see. So let's get dry brushing her up. Alright, I'm happy with where the fairy's at right now. Let's just have a little look, see how she is on the canvas. She stands out a little bit, but it's still a bit much. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do it. I am going to, because if we're going to commit to this, we're going to commit to this. There's no going back. I'm just going to start dry brushing, see what happens. So let's just go with a light dry brush of white to begin with, see where we're at. Yeah, I actually quite like that. It has a nice frosted effect. Yeah. I think I'm going to build this up a few layers at a time. I'm going to go quite heavy around the edges, because that's also taking some of the shine away from the PVA glue, so it's not looking so slapped on there. It is looking like it's all part of the canvas. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to finish this layer of dry brush, let it dry, do a couple more, build it up a little bit so it's muted a little bit more. I'm loving the frosted effect, and I may give her just the tiniest dry brush of silver, just to make her twinkle a little bit. She's a fairy after all. Her skin might be petrified, but it's still fairy skin, so in my world it's having a little twinkle. So that's what I'm going to do. So here's where we're at with the Petrified Fairy. She is all done and ready. Looking ever so petite and fragile, but quite secure at the same time. Background done. Frosted back quite a bit, so she is gonna come forward. I may or may not pale it up a little bit more yet. We'll see. We'll see how it looks, because what we're going to do now, not that the rest hasn't been fun, is the resin bit, the wings. So what I've done is I've outlined the canvas, because I can't have them bigger than the canvas. I then outlined the fairy, because they've got to line up with the fairy. So we move these out the way. Did a shape that I'm pretty happy with. Now what I'm going to do is Vaseline all around the wings. Well, the wings and a little bit around. Then we're going to pour the resin in. Then we're going to cure the resin. Then we're going to have to clean the resin because it'll have a load of Vaseline stuck to the back of it. Then we'll shimmer up the wings a little bit, just a subtle shimmer, nothing too heavy. And hopefully, all going well, and from what we've learned from our experimenting times, we'll have some nice detail from the Vaseline that I'm hoping will imitate to a degree, like this, the delicate vein work that you get in various insects' wings. So let's just do it. I should have enough Vaseline here. I think there's enough there. We can groove into it without risk of penetrating right the way through to the paper. So let's try. We're going to have nice soft hands after this, that's for sure. We should be good. Right, let's just do it. I think we'll do it in stages as well. To try and prevent it from getting too heavy. In the sense of it wanting to flow off and over the edges. Once we've got a little bit of a wall there, it'll contain itself. Alright, we're going to call that layer 1. So I'm going to do a few more layers like that. And then we'll magically appear. Unless anything goes wrong, then we'll appear before then. Right, moment of truth. I've added a few layers. Cured it in between each time. Let's see. If we have wings. Which is looking like we do. Ho 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 ho. we have wings. I need to cure a bit on the underside. It's hard to tell because it's absolutely covered in Vaseline. They're looking really cool. Oh, the wings worked. They came away. They're cleaned up. They're looking quite beautiful. So, shimmer time. I've picked out, because as they are beautiful, but they don't stand out on the canvas, I've picked out, since we've got unintentionally gone for a frost fairy. So I'm going for some blues, purples, maybe a bit of black at the base there, we'll see. They're looking pretty good, pretty shimmery. Do we go that side or do we just leave that side shining? Let's have a look. I think we can brush or rub the load on with our fingers just because it's going to be shiny, but it will shimmer. Actually, I'll wash my hands first and clear this away, otherwise there will be shimmery fingerprints all over the white canvas. Our fairy has wings. I have attached them with resin, as you can see from there. So she's not just resting upon them, they do look like they're coming out from her. And I think that's what I'm going to do with the canvas. I think we're looking fine, as pale as we are, so I'm going to leave the canvas where it's at. And I think I'm going to position her about there, so she's a little bit higher than slap bang in the middle, because she looks like she might be falling off. So I think about there. So let's have a look from the side. As long as I splodge it well enough. If I put like a shape like that there and a shape like that there. Yes. So I think if I put it on the back, should I put it on the back? That'll be guaranteed then, won't it? Right, hopefully. Right there. We have a finished Petrified Fairy. And look, she ain't coming off. How cool is that? Pretty cool, right? I really like her. Let's get up close. Look at those wings. They have come out pretty good. And there is the fairy herself. Again, she's come out really good. I am pleased with the thing as a whole. And the background. How cool does that canvas look? That would look fine just by itself. But yeah, our little petrified winter fairy. She is looking wibbly wobbly probably on camera right now. on a screen right now because I'm wibbly wobbling. That Vaseline trick works a charm for this sort of thing. And yeah, if we can get under there, I don't know if you can see or not, perhaps not from that angle, but the wings are actually attached to her, which is something I also wanted to do. We might just about be able to see. It can be a little bit clearer this side. A little bit. Oh, and I'll have to deal with that during editing. The phone swapped angles, so that'll be fun. But yeah, she's come out really good, and once again, much like with the light up ducky, put some of the experimenting that we've done with the resin in the past is coming into play. If I didn't experiment with resin and Vaseline, I wouldn't be aware of the effect it could have, or that you could do it. So yeah, all those experiments do come in, and they will again. I'm sure there'll be another project in the future where I touch upon something else that I've tried in the past. Yeah, so fun. I'm going to say she's simple. She might not have seemed it, and she might not look it now. But kebab skewers glued together. Little bit of foil, crudely shaped. Toilet tissue, toilet paper, toilet roll, call it what you like, for the skin. Resin, UV resin and Vaseline and shimmer powder for the wings. Dried leaves. I've got them falling all over the place from the various plants. And even if you haven't got plants, go for a walk anywhere, especially this time of the year. It's autumn. It feels like winter, but it's autumn over here. Well, just hitting autumn. Pick up a load when you go on your wander. Local woods, local forest, anywhere that there's a tree. Doesn't have to be little ones like this. Like I say, even if you just wanted to, you didn't want to make a fairy, you just wanted to make a really natural canvas. That, like I said, I'm probably going to do that again in the future for people. Just an outright dried leaves, dry brush canvas, because they look so nice. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's given you some ideas. You might even want to try this yourself. She is so cool. And we also have another cryptid on our hands. We have a fairy to add to the cryptid collection. But thank you so much for stopping by and checking me and my channel out. I do really hope you've enjoyed this. I'm loving being able to share with you all and getting some ideas, and thank you so much to everyone that has put things in the comments section. I'm loving reading your ideas, your suggestions. It's like I've got so many things already to come back to try, because people out there have been giving me such amazing feedback and super cool ideas to roll with. And that being said, like if you like what you see, comment if you've got something to say, and subscribe if you really like what you see and you want to see more and know when it's coming. Thank you all again so much. Take care and see you in the next one.